your skin, that shit is popping, girl. Body on 10, damn, you got it, girl. You gotta boss up, getting them checks, living your best, racks up. Oh, keep walking with confidence. Effortlessly, you let them know who is in command. You just that and more. Don't forget it. God worked hard on you for sure. Lexus, Exodus. Shout out to my exes.
Hey, Booze, hey. It is Lexus Exodus, leader of the Black Women Exodus. And if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. Please share. Please comment in the comment section. Say what's up to me. Let me know that you're listening. This is another Self-Care Sunday video. Happy Self-Care Sunday, y'all. So again, I'm going to start releasing these videos on a weekly basis. A lot of you guys have asked me for directives on fitness, on how I was able to secure a lucrative career, making six figures. You guys have also asked me for tips on health and wellness, educational tips, and different things like that. So that's what this series is for. So, and shout out to loyal patrons and who suggested that I do a corporate America series where I discuss how to navigate the corporate America space as a Black woman, because we know that there's different challenges and different hurdles that we experience as minority women. So I think that these self-care videos will be the perfect space to incorporate these types of tips and advice, because I do want to share what worked well for me. And again, this will be an ongoing series. I'll do several installments of these types of videos just to help us really hone in on, self-empowerment and improving ourselves and just being the best person that we can be. So by the way, y'all, though, here, I'm going to preface this video with this. If y'all want me to continue doing these, y'all got to show support. So I got a lot of comments on my last video where I talked about how to earn a full ride and how I was able to secure $500,000 in scholarship funding as a teenager when I went to school. And I got a lot of comments saying, yes, this is what, the investment channel should be doing. This is the direction that we all should be focused on. We should be focused on self-improvement, self-care, education, empowerment, self-empowerment. Well, I did the last video on that and y'all didn't even support it. It got less than 1,000 views, whereas it's not abnormal for me to get on a Blackistan Zoo video to get that in the first hour. So y'all, seriously, if you want me to keep doing this and you enjoy the content, you have to like and subscribe and share and support. And shout out to Mocha Mommy who shared that last video. But yeah, seriously, I don't ask for cash apps or donations or anything. All that I ask for you guys to do is just to support your content creators, like Tanya TK always says. So share the content, like the content. That way the channel is consistently growing. And then that way I'm able to reach more young girls and more Black women with this messaging. And I'm able to, reach as many women as possible with this advice. It really is important that, because I didn't have this guidance. I didn't have this wisdom. I know, like a lot of you guys, I was actually a first generation college graduate. So my family knew nothing about navigating this space. They knew nothing about obtaining a college education. They knew nothing about how to, navigate corporate America, how to climb the corporate ladder. All of this was through trial and error. So I know that this advice is really important and is really helpful and beneficial. So please share the video. That way we can reach as many women as possible. So today's video, this first video is going to be about resume writing. So I figured with the corporate America videos, I'd start from beginning to end about that journey, because before you're even going to be considered for a six-figure career, you got to get your foot in the door and you have to at least be able to secure a job interview, right? So I thought that today would be good to start from the beginning of that journey and the preliminary preliminary stages of you earning your six-figure making career like I was able to do by focusing on resume writing today. So I'll share several tips that worked for me, and I'll encourage you guys to share some below as well. And this is from me being, someone who was interviewing for a job, and then also me being on the opposite end of the spectrum and me being in a directorial role in interviewing potential prospects that would be a good fit for the company. So these are things that worked really well for me, and then also things that I like to see and I look for when I'm interviewing someone for a potential position. So tip 1. So the first thing you want to do is write an effective profile that includes your years of experience and then also includes a brief summary about yourself. So kind of like your elevator speech. And you want it to be concise so that it's no longer than 3 to 4 sentences. And I wanted to use my resume for this to share with you guys, like real life examples, so you guys know. And here's the thing, like I get accused of lying about making 6 figures, which is crazy because that's not a lot of money. I also get accused about lying about who I am, but it's like, no, this is actually my real life. So these tips that I'm sharing with you guys, this is based off of real life, true experience, real-time experience that, I've experienced, and me just passing along these tips to you. So I really wanted to show my actual resume, but I can't do that. I thought about even blocking out my name, but no, it would be way too easy for you guys to just do a Google search of my job description and my credentials, and you guys would be able to find me. So I Googled this sales manager resume just as a good example to talk through the certain things that a recruiter is going to be looking for. So this one says exactly what I just shared. So sales manager with over 6 years of experience. You see in this resume, this person is including exactly how many years of experience they have. And then they've included a snapshot of their credentials. So it talks about how they have experience training and supervising sales staff, experience with implementation, incorporating sales strategies, different things like that. And it also talks about how they have a proven track record of launching successful marketing campaigns. So this is a really good example of how to write a profile, how to write a career objective. You want it to be concise and clear and just kind of like a quick, brief elevator speech that summarizes your experience. The second tip that works really well that you want to make sure that you guys do is use action words in your resume. Okay, so use things like achieved or designed, or I incorporated, or I improved, or I established. In the industry, the recruiting industry, this is also called power words. So they're not passive words. So instead of saying, during my time at ABC organization, I ran multiple team-based projects and helped these team members with these tasks on this project. You want to be more active with your verbiage. So you want to say, I led multiple team-based projects and effectively coordinated group tasks. So use words that are very active as opposed to really passive language. So when we see the examples in this sample resume, so it says words like built, I build a full-scale sales operation from the ground up. That's awesome. That's perfect. That epitomizes what recruiters are going to be looking for. I implemented strategic goals for marketing campaigns. I strategize. I successfully expanded. So this is a really good example of the types of language that you're going to want to look for in order for, that recruiters are going to look for when they're looking for a potential prospect to fill a role. Okay, so my next tip that I would give you guys is make sure that you're focusing on quantitative accomplishments and that you're using numbers and metrics instead of simply regurgitating your job description. So you don't want to just have a summary, list a job role and then have a summary of your roles and responsibilities. You want to really have tangible accomplishments with numbers that show that you are a really good fit. So let's say you worked as a customer service rep at a contact center, at a call center. Oftentimes people they'll list that, their title there in the company, and they'll say, at the bottom, oh, I worked as an agent and answered phone calls for this client, and I did data entry, and I helped resolve customer issues. People who are hiring want to see tangible quantitative accomplishments. So what you should be writing is, oh, I surpassed call time expectations by 40%. Or I constantly or consistently receive customer satisfaction survey scores of 95%. Or I was named Agent of the Year consecutively for 6 months. See what I mean? So instead of just saying, oh, yeah, I helped resolve inquiries about people's phone bill, you're actually showing how you were an exemplary employee and how you performed exceedingly well by saying, these are the accomplishments that I made, and this is how I made direct contributions to my company. Okay. And we can even see that here in this example. So it says the second bullet here, it says, I implemented strategic goals for marketing campaigns with billings in the range of 1 million to 3 million. I served as project manager, leading a team of 20 creative and technical staff members. Do you see that? Like, that's quantitative data that really supports that you're a good employee and that you're probably going to be a good fit for this role. Yeah. So let's keep going. You also, I think it's a great rule of thumb when you're writing your resume is to Google examples of resumes in your field. So just like I found this one here, let's say I was going for a position in sales and I was looking for a role where I was going to be a sales associate. That's what I was applying for. Then I'm just going to simply Google sales associate example resumes. This one is a sales manager. If I'm going for director or VP of sales role, then I'm going to Google what's an example of a VP of sales resume. So you want to do that. That way you can use that as a foundation and as a reference on how to structure your personal resume. So you want to use the same language, mimic that same structure. Maybe you can even model your profile after something you've seen online. So I would use this and I would just tweak it. So maybe I actually have been a sales representative with only 3 years of experience. That's what I'm going to put as my leading sentence in my profile section. So just tweak it a little bit and customize it for you. Of course, you want to include your own information. Don't copy and paste someone else's stuff, an example resume that you've seen online. That's not cool. And side note, I hired someone before. She was a Becky, and I'll never do it again. But why did I go to her LinkedIn? And after she'd been with our organization for some time, y'all, I saw that she'd copied and pasted my resume profile into her LinkedIn. I'm telling y'all, these girls is crazy. Talk about single white female. But don't do that. You don't want to copy and paste somebody else's information. But it is perfectly fine to replicate the layout, the structure of your resume, the wording, using the language of your resume based off of another example that you found online. I think that's a really good rule of thumb because these are like this is from a website called Resume Genius. And this resume was written by someone who does this for a living. So I think that's a really good idea. Also, next tip, customize your resume for each job. So this is by far probably the hardest one for me to be really receptive to. For a long time, I just simply thought like it was a numbers game when I was, conducting my job search. And I just clicked apply for each job and used the same resume over and over and over again. And I did not think it was worthwhile to customize your resume for each role that you're applying to. Y'all don't do that. You want to tweak your resume for each job because here's the thing. And I'll use the example of online dating. So back when I was single and I was dating online, I was inundated with messages from guys who were interested. But I noticed that a lot of these dudes would just simply copy and paste the same message to everybody over and over again. So, and they would just, it would be a numbers game to them. And they would just send it to everybody, kind of like blind copying to everybody that they were remotely attracted to, hoping that, someone would take the bait and respond. So back when I was dating, this was obvious. And I get like all these messages from men that would just say something so generic. Hey, beautiful. I'm a 28-year-old single young man. I'm new to the Tallahassee area and I'm wanting to meet new people. Let's get to know one another. Respond if you're interested. Just like generic basic messages that were very general. And obviously it wasn't something that he individually had wrote for me. So I would just click delete. I would roll my eyes and just click delete and I would ignore it. But on the other hand, if I got a message from someone that said, hey, I see, in your bio, it says that you enjoy spending time with your pets. I have a golden doodle and I love dogs as well. I'd like to get to know more about you. Or if they said, hey, I see that you graduated from the University of Virginia. I'm a student there. I'd like to, get to know more about you. Which one would you be more likely to respond to? You know what I mean? Would it be that general, obvious copy and paste message, or the latter, the one who seemed like they really took the time to read, your bio and to read what you're looking for, and then customize, them reaching out to you based off of that? It's the same thing with job searches. Like recruiters are going to be more likely to respond to those who really took the time to read the job description and applied because they really are potentially a good fit. Not the person who just sent the same resume and blind copied 50 other employers with the same generic message. You get what I mean? Also, you want to customize your resume for each job because a lot of these employers, they simply use an automated system where they're looking for certain keywords. And if your resume doesn't include those keywords, it won't even get in front of a recruiter's desk. So here, let's say that, they had it in their system to only respond to resumes that had, I don't know, marketing campaigns, that verbiage within, their resume. They might have a system that will automatically skip over resumes that don't include that verbiage. So you want to make sure that you're tweaking your resume each time you apply for a position so that it includes the type of keywords that are in the job post. Okay. Next tip. Hey, y'all. It is Lexus Exodus, leader of the Black Women Exodus. If you didn't know already, Black women are beautiful. Black women are intelligent and incredible. Black women are phenomenal and make great wives and mothers.
I want to speak to your manager.
Black women should be respected and deserve to be loved.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Black women deserve to be treated like human beings at least. Listen, guys, if you're like me, you are so tired of your favorite Black female content creators getting harassed by the trolls, silenced on social media, and censored by YouTube. We work so hard to stand up for Black women, and although YouTube allows us to be regularly berated, ridiculed, and degraded by Dusties every day on the platform, as soon as we say one word to clap back, we're threatened with channel violations and are told to be silent or we will have our platforms removed. The biased algorithms, inconsistently enforced policies, and persistent trolling on YouTube is unacceptable and needs to stop. If you agree, meet me over on my Patreon, where you will be able to access completely raw, unfiltered, exclusive Lexus Exodus content. You will be able to access uncut, uncensored, and ad-free content, 2 bonus videos a week, access to the private Discord community, and much, much more. So meet me over on the Patreon at patreon.com/LexusExodus. The link is also in the description below.
Shout out to my exes.
Yeah, and this is just a personal preference. If you guys are in HR and recruiting, you might disagree. Feel free to chime in if you think differently. But when I used to see this when I was looking for talent, I would roll my eyes. Please, y'all, do not add Microsoft Office as a skill to your resume. Please don't. That's like adding your high school to your resume. I mean, most employers just assume that, you have experience doing Word and PowerPoint. That's a really basic skill. That's something that you have to have a grasp on to get through, middle school and high school. So please don't add that as a skill in your resume. I mean, obviously, if you're 18 or 19 years old and you don't have much professional experience or skills under your belt, that makes sense to include that. But don't be 30 years old applying for a VP position, putting Microsoft Office on your resume. I just think that's so silly. And again, y'all might kill me in the comments, but like you wouldn't put your high school education on, your resume if you have a bachelor's and a master's. Please don't put Microsoft Office as a skill. We know. I hope you do. I hope you know how to use Microsoft Word, child. Okay. Also, list your professional social media profiles. So you'll want to list your LinkedIn, of course. And LinkedIn, I need to get better about keeping mine updated because a lot of recruiters will search for talent on LinkedIn. And there's a lot of folks who have found me on LinkedIn and have reached out about potential job opportunities. So make sure your LinkedIn is up to date and it looks good. Also, back when I was searching for a job, I created a professional website that kind of highlighted my skills and my portfolio and some of the work that I had previously did. And you can do that pretty easily on WordPress. So yeah, doing things like that just makes it really easy to establish your online presence and really easy for people to find you who are looking for someone to fill a role. Also, another personal opinion, take this with a grain of salt. This is just what I like to see when I was hiring. Make your resume look aesthetically pleasing. And this is just my opinion, probably coming from the marketing perspective. People like to see things that are aesthetically and visually pleasing. And so I would look at a resume that looked good, that was eye-catching, that was structured well. I even like to use color sparingly on my resume just to make it look more polished. Just like this one, they're using like pops of green. Of course, obviously, you don't want to have like a rainbow resume, but I think this resume uses color very well. And then also, you want it just to look clean and not cluttered. So you want it to look well structured and organized. Also, next tip: only submit your resume to more recent job posts. And this is something that I found out through just reading and research back when I was, aggressively looking. So recruiters get inundated with tons of resumes as soon as a job post is published. I've even heard some recruiters say that they'll stop reviewing resumes after they receive a certain amount of applicants. I've also seen where oftentimes a job, it'll be filled, but the post will still be active, even though they're no longer looking for someone. No one just removed it. They forgot to remove it. So because of that, I would only apply for job postings that were published during the last 7 days. And maybe that's a bit too conservative, use your better judgment. It probably wouldn't hurt to widen that window a bit, maybe for the last 14 days or something. But I wouldn't apply to posts that, were 3 months old, for instance. You know what I mean? I want to be one of the first applicants that submits a resume and that company reviews for a potential role. Also, last tip, and probably the most important one. Girl, apply for those jobs that you think you're underqualified for. Please do. Do it. You don't think you have enough experience? Apply. You don't think that your education or your background is qualified for that potential role? Still click submit. Why not, y'all? Why not? The worst thing that can happen is they'll say no. And we see white people do this all the time. Look at President 45. Knowing damn well he wasn't qualified to run for office, but he did it. And guess what? He won. And I'm sure he was probably genuinely as surprised as the rest of us was. But I can't tell you how many men I worked with that knew nothing, that were underqualified, but they obtain roles like VP roles in senior leadership, making $250,000, $350,000 a year simply because they went for it. And I think the tough part is that women in general have a habit of second guessing themselves and having imposter syndrome where we don't think we're worthy. Black women have this so much more worse than most women. We're particularly bad about this, but girls, stop it. Stop it. My 6-figure job in my 20s was just me saying, you know what? I'm probably not qualified. They probably will never reach out to me, but why not? I'm going to go ahead and apply for this. And I did. And 3 months later, I landed my dream job. So go for it. Like they say, how does the saying go? Shoot for the moon, because if you land amongst the stars, then you're still going to be in a good position. If you shoot for a job making $200,000 a year, and you don't get it, but you end up landing a job making $150, it's like, shoot, be ambitious and be aggressive, and take risks, because worst case scenario, you'll get a no. But best case scenario is you'll get a yes. You only need one yes. And if someone gives you that opportunity, it could potentially be a life-changing opportunity. So go for it, y'all. All right. Those are the tips that I have when building your resume and creating your resume. I hope that was helpful, guys. Again, anyone who has additional thoughts or ideas or feedback, please feel free to leave them below, especially if you're in the HR space or if you're a recruiter and you have things that you like to see. Please feel free to share them below. All righty. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.